Hey guys, welcome back to Skill of the Month, Week 2, Handstand Push-Up. Last week we learned how to get into a good headstand position so that we're in a good stable tripod position upside down in the bottom of the handstand position, or handstand push-up position. So we'll recap real quick. T is going to go ahead and get down. Imagine she has a straight line here so that her fingers are on a reference point and her head goes in front of that line. She's going to bring her knees to her triceps, squeeze her belly, get her knees off of her arms, and then in a good headstand position, and back down. Good. Okay, how do we get from there into a handstand push-up? There's several progressions from here forward. We'll start with the easiest, and we'll work our way up to the hardest, which is essentially, or is a handstand push-up on the wall. So first things first, this looks a lot like our headstand. We're going to pick a reference point and put her hands down on the floor. And she can be on her knees or whatever to get set. From here, she's going to push up onto her toes. So she's now in this almost inchworm position, if you will. Her legs are locked out. She's going to come up on her toes, or tippy toes. If you notice, her torso is as vertical as it would be, or almost as vertical as it would be in an upside down handstand position. Important thing to remember is to get to that tripod position, you're going to have to activate through your shoulders first. So think about moving your head and shoulders forward and then controlling yourself to a descent in that good tripod position again. From here, press it back up. And at the top, same thing as you would on a push press or a push jerk. You want that head through the window, so fully extending those shoulders, and then forward, and then back up. And get a rest for a second. Now, I'm here as a spotter. I can keep my hand on her back for extra stability. If you're not comfortable doing this, or if you may need a little extra assistance to get up, so work with a buddy always, especially when you're getting upside down on the wall. It's a lot safer that way, especially if you're not comfortable or you're newer at getting into a handstand position on the wall. Step 2 in the handstand push-up. You can use a box. So essentially what we're doing here is we're elevating her body with less support than the floor. She's going to get her knees as close to the edge of the box as she can, and her hands go down to the mat. From here, she can walk them out a little bit to make it easier, but not too far. The further you go, the harder it gets to activate through the shoulder. So about 10 or 12 inches is the furthest you want to go, okay? Ideally, we'd have our hands right up next to the box and our knees close to the edge. Again, with the spotter here, she's going to activate through the shoulder, lower herself to the ground, and then back up. Finishing with that head through position. And one more time. Touch, and back up. Good. Come on down. Good. You can use a lower box or a higher box. The higher the box, or the higher your butt is off of that implement, the harder this is going to become. Next step is going to be, and we're actually going to flip to the 20-inch side now, is she's going to put her feet on the box. And this is hands down the toughest progression so far, next to the actual handstand push-up. Toes are going to be on the box. So she's in the same pike position that she was over here, only now more of her body weight is elevated above her head. She's going to activate through her shoulders, coming forward, touching the ground, and pressing back up. Okay? Again, the further back you can be with your hands, the better. The further forward you are with your hands, the harder this becomes, or the easier this becomes, right? The less it becomes like a handstand push-up, or the more it becomes like a regular push-up. One more time. And press. And finish with a good upright back. Come on down. Good. The last step, guys, is the actual handstand push-up itself. Again, I want to reiterate that working with a spotter is crucial here. If you're not comfortable kicking up into a handstand, you need someone here to help you guide yourself up. She's going to put her hands down on the floor. She's about 10 to 12 inches away from the wall at this point, just so she can give herself some room to activate forward or come forward of her fingers. Spotter's here to catch her in case she falls. She's going to kick up hard. Make sure she's stable first. Again, feet together, tight belly, tight butt. She's going to activate through her shoulder first. Watch here. Shoulder comes down, touch, and press it back out. Good. And one more time. Forward, and press it back out. Good. Kick on down. Good. That's the strict handstand push-up, guys. That's a couple different scaling options for the strict handstand push-up. Next week, week 3, the kipping handstand push-up. How do we make handstand push-ups easier so that we can do a large volume of them and essentially crush any workout that hasn't been. See you next week.